And then we have to vote for the officers. I think we should start first with the secretary, so they can start writing.
That's probably.
Does anyone want to be a the secretary? Don't even. Corinna, would you like to?
I'm an
Oh,
alternate.
you can't be. Well, do standing in for Becky. She would be good. We can vote on. Actually, she took it.
I'm not gonna vote for her if she's not here.
I know. No.
I
Well-
have chicken scratch. I would not be able to type those up properly.
You can read your own writing? Me
Nope.
either.
I'm left-handed,
Laura,
that's
you
my
wanna do
excuse.
Temporary?
I'm left-handed too.
Nobody
I
wants,
switched
nobody
to
wants to
one.
be the secretary.
There are benefits? No.
I know Skip doesn't want to do it. No. All right,
You have
going
done.
onward. Would anyone like to be the chairperson? Actually, I would.
Oh.
I'm crazy. I told you.
I nominate Betty Harris Howard.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. All those in favor? Okay, you're the chairperson.
All right,
Now we'll go downstream.
now we go down. Would anyone like to be vice chair?
I guess I'll go be the second crazy person in the room. Why not?
Okay, I nominate Sean.
I'll second it.
Everybody for?
Aye.
Opposed? Me. All right, John. Now we're back to the secretary. Who would be willing to take the minutes for tonight?
I'll do it.
All right. If you just take the minutes for tonight, then we'll
We'll
figure
cross
out. Oh,
that.
we'll take turns, we'll figure something out. Somebody will have to be in charge of it, maybe we can take turns. It's just I can't read my own writing.
Well, maybe we'll Becky goes back to it.
Maybe Becky will do it, and she very well may. She did them in a meeting for,
Where's Nancy when you need her? Oh, never mind, she's up at the school board.
yeah. Okay, I think the first thing we have to do is we have to go through, I know, and we have to go through this, list of budget, changes. So, if everyone has read the amounts, we'll open the first one being Emergency Service Department. The selectmen recommend a change to $417,904. Does anyone want to discuss that or have anything to say?
I'll bring up the first thing I noticed. I know during our last little conversation with the select board, there were a couple things that you had mentioned that needed to be changed. And I know that this number does not reflect that. So basically, if I remember correctly, let me just pull up the correct page, because fire and this is a few different pages. It was primarily in the payroll taxes line,
Yeah.
where things should have changed, so that would have changed the dollar amount in your favor.
You're correct, but I haven't had a chance to get in there.
Totally understand, I understand.
I'm trying to get through this stuff.
So, I'm sorry. Will you be able to do that before the next sheet comes out?
At this point, I probably am not gonna change that figure. We're
You're
gonna
not
have to
gonna
work with
change
it.
it.
I cannot. I've got to get this out in the mass mail and I've got to get this done.
Okay.
So,
All right. Do you know how much that was from?
The amount for the taxes, bear with me here. The amount in the tax line was $21,696.
And it's a savings of?
If I'm correct in saying this, I tried to do the calculations in my head, I believe the payroll taxes are roughly 7.5%, is that?
I'm not the treasurer, so.
Okay.
I don't
6.2
know.
and 1.45.
I went for six something, right?
No, 6.2 and 1.45.
Yep.
That'd be 7.65.
That was close.
Okay, so
Other than that, everything else,
it's really not a big significant.
No.
Does anyone feel it's significant enough that we want to change the number?
I still don't agree with the full-time chief's pay.
Okay, you don't agree with that?
No.
Do you have a recommendation or
I
a
would say
discussion we'd like to have?
Moving down to 30,000 as chief's pay, and that's it. Because you've got enough other people there working at 208 hours a week that we didn't have before that can be doing some of the stuff that he's supposedly using all his time to do. in the chief's pay, and what would the benefits be totally?
And Skip, I understand where you're coming from, but I did look into what the selectmen or the select board was discussing with that federal law from Obama.
Right.
By giving him that amount and putting him at that
Yeah,
salary
he doesn't have
cap.
to work that, he doesn't need that. He doesn't need that many hours. I know, you know, I mean, he doesn't.
Let's skip, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
We did discuss, we are aware, all of us are aware of what that Obama thing was gonna start in December, right?
Correct.
That after 40 hours and over 47,000, I think it's 47,000 and change, that, so the overtime is very little different. And it's gonna be a little difference once that comes in. However, I think what you're saying, if I hear you correctly, is we don't need any more than 30 hours, so overtime should not be approved for him unless we
It
have,
should
God
be-
forbid, disaster.
The base pay is where it's always has been, and hours have never tracked, has never been tracked before for anybody, you know? Because it's just, you get so much to do it, and that's it. Whether it's, you know, it's a 24/7 job anyhow, and if it's, you know, to avoid going full-time, you have to go with a paid deputy and split it, and then you got two part-timers. You know, and then you get away from that. Same thing with a CEO, I mean, you can we used to have two CEOs. Why can't we do that again and then do away with it, you know, we didn't have a full, and you get somebody
We're
that's,
not talking about CEO.
I know, but it's
Stay
the
on
same,
task.
the same thing, but I mean, I just don't agree with it, and knowing that you got enough people there working, you know, now, that's covering the station, that they should be able to do some of that other stuff that he's supposedly takes all his time to do, which I know what has to be done by the chief and what doesn't. I mean, most of it, a lot of the reports and everything else can be done by the people that are sitting there in the station. They, of course, they're busy, but they're not that busy. They'll go a day or two without nothing going on, so.
I guess,
Well, I'm just gonna say, you know, again, looking at the original numbers, that his wages essentially went up $676, and the select board was able to cut a substantial amount from day and night schedule of about $25,000. If you're putting a man in a salary position and he's not getting, you know, he's doing his 40 and plus, but he's not getting any extra for that 40 hours.
Like I said, he doesn't have to work 20 hours. You know,
Yes, but
Why
if
pay him
he's at a
$22
salary
a month?
cap,
well, I pay him $22 or $25 when you're only paying the other people 10 to 15 to do the same thing.
Was that maybe his employment agreement?
No,
no.
Was,
I mean, if it was needed, but it wasn't, I mean, that was, you know, it's, I don't believe it is, but it's just a matter of, I don't.
does he have a contract to do a certain amount of hours every week?
Because it's never been paid as a hourly position no matter what, and the hours never tracked. I mean, you might have tracked, I might have tracked my own hours, but it never got turned into the selectmen or anybody else. Never had it, so, but anybody's been doing it. So why now all of a sudden?
I haven't heard anybody say this yet, but do you also realize the man's in charge of the Lebanon Fire Department, the EMS, and the emergency manager?
Right, and that's, and why
Which
do we,
you were all paid separately before.
right, and why do we combine these jobs to make it a full-time position when you could have an EMA director, and you could have, like I said, a deputy chief and stuff, and then you, to get away from the benefits and stuff, what's it gonna cost you? How much are they gonna cost you? Can you answer that? I mean, how much
I
overall?
cannot answer that, and the treasurer's not here to answer
I mean, roughly,
I don't know,
It's pretty
Skip.
expensive.
roughly, you know, like, it was
Does anyone know?
12 to 17,000 or something like
But
that.
as a person in a position, when you go for a job, I mean, to me, I would want a full-time job with benefits. I mean, that's really, I mean,
But that wasn't how he was hired either, you know?
Well, we don't know that.
No,
not to my knowledge, no.
do you have?
We don't know
is there a
what
way
was
of
said.
getting- Is there a
Neither
way,
do I.
is there a way of getting
No, we
the
don't.
original application, not the application, but the,
I can look. I don't know.
what gets sent out for the requirements for the chief, and what they promised him?
Job description.
I can
type
Job
look.
thing.
description.
I can look. I can look. I'm
I've
sure there
seen
must
it,
be
and
a
I
spot.
saw it originally, but I never got a copy of it.
My only concern is, I mean, the difference in this vote was 267 people, and I realize a lot less people are gonna vote on it now. which I don't really agree with, but that's how it is, so we move forward, that it's not cut enough. That's my only concern, that it's cut, what, 33,000 or whatever it is. I'm concerned that it's not cut enough for people to support it. That's what I'm concerned about. I don't know.
If you're cutting,
Well, but they can amend it there too. I mean,
Well, I understand, yes, you're right, you can do that, so I
yeah, they
just,
can go down on that budget there if they wanna amend it, and then we can just deal with what we end up with. And that's probably is what's gonna happen, and that's probably what we're gonna have to do. And we're aware of that, but.
but if you cut his pay back to, like I said, 30,000, it'd drop the whole budget to 396,476, and that's with the taxes and everything.
Well, I will say I actually sat down with some of the numbers myself and went line by line for the entire budget, and actually kind of looked into the payroll taxes as well. Final number I got for that department was 409,673. After just moving things around a little bit and also taking a look at that one line that needed to be adjusted. To me, you're talking almost $50,000 that we cut the department. I'd say that's a decent number.
right, and that, my concern was that 33 really wasn't enough, that's just kind of,
So,
You know.
John, you said by adding it was what,
Where'd
409?
where'd the 409 come from?
The 409,673, Skip, I had literally spent probably 4 or 5 hours on my own personal time, literally going line by line, kind of seeing where I could make adjustments, if at all possible. One was just looking at the payroll tax line alone, because that needed to be corrected. But with that being said, actually ballparking it here real quick, that's about $2,000 right there. That's
Yeah.
missing off the line item.
From what it was, it wouldn't be that much. 'Cause dropping it down to 30,000,
But
If you did.
you're not looking at,
if you took what he's got down there for now and you dropped it down to 30,000, your payroll tax would be 18,444. That's dropping it down to 30,000 instead of.
but that payroll tax is also including day
Right, all
wages
of
and
them,
nights.
I forget, you got total payroll of 241,092 would be with the 30,000. If you left it with this 15,167.29. But that would be payroll, would be 18.
Barbara, did you want to put your?
But, yeah, I would say if you went with 400,000, that would be something that might pass. And
The question then becomes, though, is on the docket, on his contract, if you will, is he a salary position or an hourly position?
He's hourly.
it's a
What's the
position,
salary?
it's just a,
He gets hourly
He has a
now.
job without
I
a
believe
wage.
he has hourly right now.
Yes, he does. Yes.
What was your number, Sean? I got the 409, that's all I
I'm
got.
sorry about that.
673.
Thank you.
673.
And when I get time to actually sit down in front of a computer and put this all in digital format, I'll gladly send the
Okay. 'cause-
budget.
That would be great.
Yeah.
so
And
we're-
even if it gets dropped, they can still decide to let him be full-time. So we're not gonna have any control over that. True.
no, but, I mean,
So you're,
Unless we say that.
so you're saying that you don't think it's low enough?
Oh, no, well, I just, when I, you know.
You're afraid that people won't vote?
Well, it depends who shows up, obviously.
Yeah, that's,
But I just was concerned the 33 wasn't really enough. That was my concern. But, you know, it depends who's gonna be there and, you know, I don't know. Obviously, people thought it was too high originally.
yes.
I mean, and a lot of people voted no,
So
so
what
it
do you
wasn't
think of the
close.
409,
Well, maybe,
673?
I mean, I think the lower we can get it, the better it'll be. The chances, I think, you know, but I don't know, that's,
So would you guys like to vote to have, put that in? The 409?
Well, we can make, if someone can make that recommendation if they
so
choose.
what-
So I was just
what
gonna see if we
is-
could get through everyone having an
I'm
opinion
just
here and then
saying
we'll.
Payroll is one of the
We can
things.
actually
I
make a
left that the
recommendation
same because I
to-
figured it
to
was a
lower
salary
that
position.
tonight.
That depends on how the select board decides to handle the affairs moving forward.
Right.
If they decide to keep them as an hourly position or a salary position, that's not in our control.
no.
So realistically, that line
It
item,
says salary right there.
it says salary, so if they're looking to make it a salary,
Right.
That's it, but that's an
It
employee.
always has been so
Obama
much.
thing, it says-
Yeah,
Well,
we put it for salary.
Perhaps
Hours,
they've changed
hours.
something, the selectmen may have
It's 20.
Yeah, but
changed the position.
he doesn't get paid hourly now.
It's 2,400 a month.
So if he's salaried,
Salary.
then that federal law
Yeah.
comes into effect again, and I'd really hate to pay the overtime.
Right, but
That's my concern, because overtime, that overtime's gonna cost way more.
they
It
don't,
does not
pay
mean
the
it will get
overtime for
approved.
workers here, this,
I mean,
like I said, it's
Do you not have to
have
approve overtime?
any salary.
Large overtime,
Always has
people,
that.
would you not have to approve that if you
Or
were
it's overtime, then we
I
have.
mean, unless it was an awful emergency, I mean, then you just go to work like anyone else and do what you have to do. But I mean, if, let's take that sheet, if anyone was to want to put in a large amount of overtime, you would have a say, correct?
Yes, we'd have to say,
Okay.
I would hope.
Yeah.
But, you know, things happen.
Well, yeah, but when somebody did that, I would think if it wasn't in the budget, would that not be under your control to say, whoa,
Yes.
we have to talk about this or something?
Yes.
Okay,
But the odds are, if he needs overtime, it's probably because of a fire or a disaster or something, and they're not gonna say no.
exactly,
Do you know what I mean?
but not to mow the lawn.
Well, obviously.
Well, I mean, I think that's what's
Well,
on some
no,
people's mind. I mean,
No.
I'm just speaking the truth. People have said they've seen him up there mowing the lawn. No, we don't wanna pay overtime for someone to mow the lawn.
Well,
But if some,
Well,
your house was on fire, I would give them anything if it was in my power. But no, I mean, I think that's what people are thinking, is that he's not doing the difficult things, I guess.
Well, yeah, that's probably not a good idea.
That require them. Do you want to talk that?
No.
You don't want to?
No, I'm listening.
Oh, okay. Vern? Okay, I just want to say that I've struggled with this off and on, but it's kind of like an elephant in the room in a way. I think we're seeing from where we were, we're moving forward, which is wonderful. We need to move forward. What we're putting, again, all the power, I can't find a better word, into the lap of one person. I have a problem with that. I'm still wrestle, that truck will always drive me cuckoo. And the fact that the people will still not get a fire truck. But yet, we're gonna pay somebody $47,000. To me, that's not even making sense, honestly. I think I'd rather see him get a fire truck, because my house, I don't want to push a truck down the road to get to my house. So it's a tough one, and I think you wanna make a recommendation, Skip? That's what I think.
My recommendation would be 400,000, but
100,000?
400 would be mine.
And so, and the line item that you wanna
Would be
correct, the chief's
reducing,
salary.
reducing.
to,
His pay to 30,000, and that would change the.
I think at that point it would revert back to an hourly rate.
No, it's his
No?
salary. 30,000 is the
The salary would be for 40 hours.
uh,
Salary would be 40 hours, would it not?
salary is,
Whatever you
the
make
chief
it, I know
position
that.
is, you do the job and that's it, doesn't matter how many hours you have to put into it. Because like I said, it's never really been tracked, it's been, this is your job, you're getting this amount to do it, that's what it always has been. You know, and
I believe with the federal law, you're gonna see tracking be enforced by that, and that's another issue.
still it is, I would, you know,
Well,
I
I
wouldn't
think
say-
these people are gonna be tracking.
isn't it has, you tracking it now?
Am I tracking it?
Yeah, I might not.
I've only seen
Is he-
3
is
weeks
he
of
tracking?
people. I mean,
No, but I mean, is the hours being turned in, and,
oh, of course.
I mean, his hours?
Does he just get a stipend thing or whatever you call it? I know,
He
don't call it a
turns in a
stipend.
thing for so much,
He turns in a list just like you used to, with payroll for all his people.
For him,
and then-
no,
But
I
what
just
about,
did.
what does his say, a
Doesn't
certain
say-
dollar amount?
Yes.
yeah, it's just a dollar.
It's a
Still being
stipend,
No
not
matter
called
if he's-
stipend, whatever you call it
Like
now.
he said, he's working 60, 70 hours now, which,
He puts in it for an hourly wage, like he does for his,
No,
he
no,
doesn't do it now.
an amount.
An amount.
Yes.
Based on his given hourly rate.
Yes, but I
No,
can
it's
ask
not,
him
not
for,
by the hourly rate, it's by the monthly.
yeah,
He gets so much a
Oh, it's a
month.
monthly.
I believe so.
yeah.
Is that how he gets paid too?
Yeah.
Yes.
Monthly, oh, okay, I
So
will-
he's already on the salary?
I Has been
What
since the
equals
beginning.
two, so.
It's 2,400 a month.
It's always has.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And now I'm following you, Skip, I'm
Yes,
sorry, I
yes.
apologize, I was a little confused there.
I was
know.
confused, I thought he was up.
Yeah, me too, so,
It's never been
Okay.
hourly, it's always been.
Then,
all right, the proposal has been made,
Well,
the proposal's been made.
but,
it's not a motion though.
so he's not,
Nobody seconded it.
So he gets a stipend when we were not supposed to call it a stipend, right? Isn't that the deal? So he gets 2,400 a month.
Yes,
Okay, that's what he gets right now.
yes.
If he works 1 hour or 40 hours, or 50, 60, 70, 80, doesn't matter.
Right.
Okay.
Because it's getting paid for doing the job. And it's, you know,
Well,
it's a 20 it's a 24/7 job.
Well, it is, obviously.
So I mean, you know, yeah. Some that you
Is
go.
any more, anybody wanna comment before we address what's on the table?
I just don't know that, are we, do we have the authority
Well, we need to come up with a number.
to give somebody a salary amount?
No.
No, we have to come up
We
with
have
a
to come up
number.
with a recommendation for this ballot.
Either we agree with the selectmen, we wanna put our own in,
Or we wanna put our own in.
or we wanna put our own in.
Yeah, but us as a budget committee really don't have the power to give some,
That's not the
assign
point.
somebody a salary.
The point is that Skip has said that he thinks the budget should go down about $30,000. You want 400,000, is that what you said?
He
No,
said
he said
400,000.
his salary to go down to
No,
30,000.
But we don't,
That's where I would take
Right.
it from, but I mean, I would say 400,000 would be.
my understanding is what we have to vote on is, what we have to vote, that we recommend is a number. We can't say, tell them what to do with that number. What we
You can
recommend is a
tell us
number.
what we choose to
We-
do with
right,
this. two different
Which I think we're
things,
trying
you
to
know,
do, but
Well, and people could vote that day and tell you what to do with it.
They
we
could.
probably tell them
Well,
what to do
no,
with it.
no, they could. Someone could get up and say blah, 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 and
You're absolutely right.
they could,
That could happen.
yeah.
Is there a calculator down there, my phone, if that thing?
So if we wanna go with a lower
I
number,
think
Oh,
that's
well,
why,
yeah.
try that one.
Perfect, thank you.
I think this one's got it. Read the back here something.
So that was there, the 17,9. Oh, Lord. So you wanna make the motion, right? You wanna make the motion for the budget to go down to $400,000? Okay, the motion has been made to go down to $400,000. Anyone,
I'll second.
all those agree?
Wait a minute, he made it.
He made it.
I
Oh,
wrote,
we have to second it, don't
I
we?
wrote the ship and I.
You seconded? Oh, good.
Jumping again.
And Becky seconded it, and just wait for him before we vote, just so.
Becky, so it's open right now. We're
So we
gonna
made a
vote.
motion, it's been seconded.
Okay.
I apologize, there was an error in my calculations.
We all make mistakes.
That's what I get for doing this at like 11, 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
So,
Yes. Okay, we all make mistakes.
so actually the only thing I went back and did was take a look at the payroll taxes, so that still brings the budget to 415,683.
Okay. All right, the motion's been made. All for the motion? Opposed? 3 to 2. Our
No,
recommendation.
I think it's 4 to 2, 1 to 6 to 2.
I told you it's been one of those days, Laura.
And like the people that day are gonna decide whether they like that or they wanna go do the 471 or whatever it is, so, you know,
We can change it to whatever.
yeah, I
We
mean,
can't go higher.
they can't go higher.
So I
Isn't
think
it 471?
that your recommendation also was that for us to, for the chief's hours to go down to.
Well, I don't know
But
if
that
we
wouldn't
can
be
do
in
that.
there.
You can't.
No, you just asked us, you said we could recommend to you. That was his recommend, I was just trying to
But
clarify
if you
that.
wanna really change it, you have to make the motion on the floor to change that.
Right, but that's, I guess the budget, the people who voted yes.
But that
I think
still leaves
that's what we're
another-
looking at.
That still leaves another 3,600 above cutting his pay down to 30,000, so actually, you could put it up to 35 and still be, or you could give the other people pay that they should be doing this.
I had a question though, where the selectmen recommended 417,904, did you, was that a unanimous agreement?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I didn't say, would we be able to vote on that one so that if like, we didn't agree on the 400,000, Sean and I,
Okay.
but to be able to support the 417?
No, cause you guys just had.
Because we just overrode that,
You did.
did we not?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just trying to be clear.
So,
Can I help your discussion a little bit?
Sure.
And if you can tell, I'm an outsider, but I've been here, so.
He's helping.
All the budget committee can do is recommend that they change the number. They
Right.
can keep it at 417, they can make it to 450, and then your only thing is you're gonna vote on it. So they may, just because you voted for 400 doesn't mean that they're gonna change it to 400.
That's right.
They can change it to 415, they can do whatever they want. Your vote is, so that's, you can make that recommendation.
Which we did.
They can maybe come back to you, well, what if we do 405? So there's can be negotiation there, because essentially you all want to get as many in favor votes as possible. But that's the negotiation, but it's whatever number, ultimately, it's whatever number the selectmen say it's going to be. And then your only power at that point is your vote.
So what number are we voting on?
You're not voting on, you just made a motion, you voted on that number. That's your recommendation. That's not the number for the budget. That's your recommendation to them. They then have to decide what number they're gonna put down on the warrant, and that will be the number that you're voting on.
Both these numbers will be on the
Both of
warrant.
them.
Right, you've already decided.
It says, on this,
Right.
in case
And then
it's
discussion
the
will happen
budget committee
there,
may
and they
submit
got-
its own recommendation for the budget.
No, can't.
Oh, I haven't seen,
This is our
this is the
ordinance.
warrant?
This is our
Just
ordinance.
Yeah, they
that
voted
covers
an
us
ordinance
now.
for budget committee, so.
So
numbers
if
will
we
be on there.
Say it
can't
again?
come to an agreement,
We
this is the
voted
budget
an
committee ordinance.
What's in the ordinance for budget committee?
Yeah.
Oh, and it says,
That's what we're saying. If we can't agree, then we can put in our own number. I mean, they can still have their number, but we can have our number.
that's the annual town meeting. That's not this meeting. This is not the annual town meeting that you're holding.
Well, if you go by what they've written here so far.
I'm just saying is that ordinance talks about the annual town meeting, and this meeting that you have is not the annual town meeting.
Special town meeting.
That they put down for the selectmen recommended by the committee.
I'm just saying, that's what the ordinance says, is the annual town meeting.
Okay,
so-
you're right. All right, excuse me, I think what we're looking for here is a recommendation, only a recommendation. We made it, we passed it, we move on. We've discussed it.
Well, but the point is, with his point, it does say annual, so maybe we can only say yes and no to the 4, or whatever they put.
417, yeah.
Right.
But I thought that was after the fact. If we
No, I don't.
So, yeah,
Special meetings. No, this is just about meetings. I don't,
I believe Mr. Harlow is correct in saying that with that, it specifies for the annual town meeting, not a special.
We don't have annual town meeting.
yeah, we just did, when we.
The one where we all sat in the high
Oh,
school,
that was the
for-
annual town meeting.
that was the
Okay.
annual town meeting.
Yeah.
So this is a special call to order, and unless there's something specific in that ordinance that states
Okay,
otherwise.
so then the three of us would then have to refuse, say we disagree, we don't recommend that. And then when we sit there, they'll ask us what we recommend, and then we say 40,000. If in fact, is that I guess that's what we have to do.
Well, because he's right, it says annual, which is
All right.
ridiculous, but
That
whatever.
makes it almost easier. All those approve the selectmen's recommendation of $417,904. Say yes.
So before you go there, you can ask them to change the number now, before you vote on it.
They won't. I can tell you that.
Well, I'm just saying,
Are
you
willing
can,
to
you can.
change your number?
I'm not. I've gone through it 2 or 3
Okay.
times.
We've already-
Okay, I'm just saying, well, that's fine,
we've already
that's
cut
fine.
down from the town's refusal vote.
We had
That's
that,
fine.
because we had that meeting, I just knew that that's where you were at.
Okay.
I apologize for not asking you, but that's, I assumed that's where you were gonna stay. Because we had that other meeting and had that discussion already. All right, so everyone who says no to the mayor recommendation, please, so.
I just think you need to lower it
I
more,
think-
that's all I'm saying.
4-2. We don't recommend that amount. So I guess if we wanna say the 40,000,
We have to say it that day.
we have to say it that day.
Well, see what-
And someone inevitably will say, what do you recommend?
Well, they don't have to.
No, they don't have to.
But they're probably not gonna.
Well, they could.
That's inevitable, so I guess it would be good if we all had our answers. Willing to go on to the next article?
Well, it
Okay.
makes it easier, doesn't it?
That's easy. All right, this is for, see what sum the town will appropriate for the, operation of the Lebanon transfer station. The selectmen recommend $351,331. All, any discussion?
Again, just making note, now this is just something I noted, I know they're not gonna change their number at this time. They did mention during our last meeting that they were planning on closing it an extra day and to cut staffing.
Mhm.
With that in mind, you look at a few different things, you can definitely cut some of the safety equipment costs if you're going down in personnel, a couple other supply items and what have you. So I went through it, I came up with my number, again, I'll send numbers out to the budget committee for the day of the meeting.
What'd you get?
My final number wasn't too much of a difference, but every little penny counts, I guess, is $350,091.
Okay, good.
And we talked about cutting staffing a little bit after, and I'm not sure if it would work or wouldn't work, only because we're gonna be closed that day, so they're gonna be busier the next day, so we're not, we'll see how that goes.
I think that's something you do have to play with,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
because you don't know.
That's gonna be a juggling
Yeah,
aspect, so.
Yeah.
But you are right, Glenn, if they drop a person, then you are gonna save a few dollars on it.
yeah.
They, we should tell them that, she brought it up the last time, that the station takes in $20-some odd thousand.
Yes. The revenue? Yeah, I think we have revenue.
On that whole,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's important to bring up to people at the special town
And we
meeting.
will, we get this more.
You know, the ambulance money and
Yes.
the
Can't put
it
medical
in.
money. I know, but it can't go in
Not
on
on
here,
here,
but it could be brought up to people to let them know that these are also revenue generating, departments. And the same thing with the code enforcement, he brings in fees.
Are we prepared to vote on that? All those in favor of this, using the amount, $351,331, all those in favor?
Yeah, that was a close.
So, you're opposed?
Yes, I know.
Okay. In favor again, I'm sorry.
5.
5-1, okay. I guess I have to then, so you don't agree with them, you agree to vote?
It wasn't a monetary issue with me, why I voted it down.
Okay. All right, Article 4. See what some of the town will raise and appropriate, for department budgets, a code enforcement officer, health officer, E911, dressing officer, including expenses. The selectmen recommend $44,903. Any discussion?
Does that make him full-time?
Makes them 35 hours a week.
But that means he can get benefits, right?
Yes.
And he's not getting them presently.
That's correct.
So, you don't know what that's gonna cost you, right?
Off the top of my head.
His benefits. Because that's a thing with, like you combined all these jobs to one job, now you made it a full-time, if you gave the 911 and the health.
The other guy was not full-time and he had all
I
that
know,
type
but I
of-
mean, this is one instance, you can't handle it. Because I know Alfred has done the same thing, they've gone to two, they used to have one, they've gone to two. Just for that reason, to get rid of the whole timers. And then you get two people doing the same job, so if one's gone.
Businesses are doing that too.
And we used to do that, we used to have two here.
A lot of places are combining.
That's why they do it, yeah.
It's too bad, you know, and that we can't fix that for this meeting, for this thing, but it's too bad you couldn't look at like sharing with a CEO with another town, because I know, I think it's Berwick and Southborough do that, they
Job
share
sharing.
it. But, yeah, they share it, so,
I believe, if I remember correctly from the last meeting, that's why they left that 1,200, which should have been, they said shouldn't have changed, but to be 1120 for deputy CEO for the event that somebody had to fill in, if I remember correctly.
right, and it's a certified person, it's not just someone,
It's not Joe Schmo off the streets.
right,
but-
right?
I have a question, there must be busy times of the year. I would think that summer for this person would be much busier than in the winter
Spring
when there
and
isn't much.
summer.
Yeah. So I guess maybe that full-time,
But there's always other things to do too.
true,
I mean,
maybe you could go over that a little bit, so that
I don't sit in that position, but I mean, he's got 911 to do, and, you know, there's all kinds of, a health officer, I mean, there's lots of things that he could do.
What does the health officer do in this town? Can someone tell me? I don't know.
Well, he kinda, you know, if there's anything that has to do with the Board of Health or anything, it has to do with any,
Inspection of buildings
Yeah,
and
anything.
contaminated, you know.
You know, we have to have them by law, so we used to have a separate person, but it kinda goes with code enforcement. Codes and
It does,
stuff.
but that's-
Well,
Okay. And 911, what does that take? I don't know personally, I don't know if anyone else does.
Well,
I'm
he
sure Laura does.
Well, he does street address, he has to measure and give new addresses and things like that, and he has to do it with the state, you know, and file
So
with
the
the
people
state.
will find us?
Stay
Yeah,
online.
yeah,
The
and
people
then,
will find you?
Yeah.
Oh, I would think that would
Then he
take some
does-
time.
that's how fire and EMS.
Right, that's how.
Yeah, it had to
Okay.
be, at one time, the whole town had to be.
I get it now, I get it now.
So he
Yeah.
just like does new
Yeah,
ones and
okay.
updates and things like that.
Changes.
Well, I think it's always good to know exactly what we're looking at.
I would also just like to state that the select board did reduce his pay from the original budget as well. They slashed it about another $5,000. The original number for this was 42,000, if I remember correctly. It's 42,000 and some change. I don't have the number in front of me right at the moment.
But if you compare it to a couple of years ago, it's a difference.
Yes, but I also don't believe it was a full-time position a couple of years ago.
No,
There was
no,
probably
no,
more
it's
than
Which it's.
one person doing the department. Now you, no, there was no deputy back then?
A lot more people.
Well, no, I don't think he was allowed to have a deputy,
He's
was
been
he?
buying houses now, we still have houses, and
Yes. I
There's
mean-
plenty of subdivisions.
We're adding at least
Yeah.
30 new houses every year right now.
I can attest for that.
So that's, you know, all that stuff is
Where?
attached to that.
I can attest for that. I've kind of decided to help out with the planning board, and I'm seeing some of these subdivisions coming in that are trying to
Lucky
build.
you.
Yeah.
Are
So,
you passing?
not just yet. But that's another story for
Don't
another.
tell me that, I don't wanna see it in my other committee.
Well, there's not, we haven't gotten to the final stages on it. But that's another story for another day, another.
No, I was just making a comment that I didn't want to see it again. Okay, well, let's take the vote. All in favor of $44,903 as recommended by the selectmen, please raise your hands or say yay or nay. Yay?
I just really think it should be a little lower, I just,
Well, two, 4?
well, I don't know, I really,
Okay. Who does
I
not
don't
vote,
know.
who doesn't want to vote for it?
well, obviously, I don't
Well,
don't know if it's
that's
low
the
enough.
case.
I don't either, Laura, and that's kind of mine.
You know, to go from 50 to,
He takes in a lot of money too.
well, that doesn't mean you have to spend it.
No, but I mean, I'm just saying.
I know that, and that's not,
It pretty much is a full-time job right now with all the building permits and the inspections and.
Again, I think
Right, and next year it may fail and you're still gonna have this full time.
there you go.
I mean, if you have another slumping.
Again, I
don't
think,
know.
I have to say, I'm all for the progress and everything,
It
but
should be,
making all these people full-time workers,
and you're not gonna get out of there once you put it in there.
it's a big jump for that. That's a responsibility, a huge one, when you make people full-time. And of course, the benefits are very expensive, whether we like it or we don't.
And I agree with that, but I want to pose this question to the budget committee. If, let's say you're a code enforcement officer.
No.
Let's just say you are, you're certified, everything else. You're shopping around to different towns to find a job.
I hear you.
Would you stop in the town of Lebanon that will
No.
only pay you a part-time rate? Absolutely not.
But I'm not saying that's why I wouldn't stop in the town of Lebanon. I'm just saying, no, I don't mean that mean badly. I don't mean that. But what I'm saying is, I hear you. So, hey, I hear you. I know where our pay scale is.
We
I
have to find that balance. And
I
I
hear
understand.
ya. I hear
I
ya.
understand this is not, nobody in town wants taxes to go up. Nobody wants these certain
But
things
that's
to
not
happen.
realistic.
But it's the inevitable, unfortunately.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
I mean, we're
Well,
not.
like you said, we could combine or something else here.
Well, we can't do that right now,
No,
but I
but
mean,
you-
that in the future, that's
Well,
a
you
thought.
could, right, so, but if you get.
Well, I feel like we're combining in all sorts of departments, and that's what we're
No, I
bottom
mean,
up.
you could combine with another town for a CEO.
Well, that's
That's what
something
a lot
that
of
the
towns
select
are.
board
A
would
lot
have
of
to
towns
look
are
into.
combining a lot of
Yeah, they are,
services.
but
Well, perhaps when we reconvene and have subcommittees, we can look into that.
Yeah, we could, I mean,
That's,
Our
Well, I
new format of
believe-
budget committee.
okay,
we
so
have
let's go
subcommittees.
back to this. So he has got all his certifications now.
Yes.
Everything he needs, he has.
Yes.
Okay.
so, with that being said, I'll just throw it out there again. I did come up with my own numbers, and I will email this out to everybody. I wasn't able to reduce much on this. I got 44,343. That was just with cutting a couple different areas where I felt you didn't need to spend just based off of numbers prior. Now I know the federal book went up. I know we had that's a given. You have to have that for being up to code. If he's up to code with development and training, I feel that line could have gone down. Again, just a couple nitpicking things, I guess, but that's the last number I got. And I'll bring that to the special town meeting if I have to, so.
Does anyone want to change their vote, or are we 4-2?
I just feel, and we can agree to disagree. We don't have to, it's not gonna be a battle here. We're gonna get through this. But I just feel that there was a difference of 200 votes, and I just don't think we brought it down enough. That's my only thought. That's all. That's all I'm saying. And you can disagree, and that's okay. And I don't know. What is the right number? I don't know.
I think it's a good point, because in a sense, we are representatives of the people, and in a sense, we're all representatives of the people, because that's what we do here. So what do they want? And I think that we're only gonna find out when we get to that meeting, how they'll vote again. But I kind of have to say, there were a lot of people that were opposed to it, but I can't tell you who. I just like to know the makeup of those people, I think.
Well, I think, for me, I think the job's always been a full-time job. I think our old code enforcement should have had a full-time spot, and unfortunately, the situation that we've had, he kind of got pushed out, and I went through it, saw it. I understand how this vote went. I think it's more a personal issue. I think there's a lot of things that need to be weeded out and handled and just corrected, and maybe to run a little bit smoother, and it would get better. But I think that's why the vote was the way it was, whether it be, and part of it probably is going full-time, and it is a huge jump, but as an employee somewhere, I don't wanna go anyplace and have a job with a family or with a spouse or anybody else and not look for benefits and full-time. I mean, I went to another place, took less hours, but I still get benefits and insurance and vacation. So I think that's a very important quality to keep people, and I'm doing this as a position, not as, trying to create the position so that way we can grow with the town. That's what I'm trying to do.
One other thing I'll just share, just because I was in the process of doing all this, maybe people like to hear lump sum numbers. I went back and I looked at the three departments, did from the original vote that everybody said no to. The total amount was $873,000 and $873,000. We'll just round it. The new totals that the select board have given us brings it down to $814,000. We're talking about $58,000-$60,000 worth difference. They have gone in, they have tried to make a reduction to this. I feel like if we had more time, I would love to be able to sit here with them and go through and nitpick it a little bit more.
But if you figure this, you're gonna add 2 full-time, and you're gonna add 2 more benefits, so that's gonna add another 40,000 right there, close to it.
Well, that's something that they'd be
No, I
dealing
mean,
with
but
their insurance.
This should be, your benefits probably should be into that budget, not
The benefits for that, and they could correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the benefits for that are in the town's insurance lines.
Right, but
That's
I
a
mean, they
completely
could be split
different-
up, they could be split up into the department, so you know what that department was costing you.
Well, I think when we
But we
get,
used to do the insurance, right, for a while. Insurance got charged to the department, like fire department paid so much for insurance, and everybody else paid so much for what their share of insurance was, so it showed up in their budget. And that, you know, it should, these hidden costs that, you know, you're adding this full-time
It's-
guy in, and it doesn't.
it may seem like a hidden cost at this point, but when we reconvene for the 17-18 budget cycle, we will be able to look at the insurance package again, see what they propose for a number,
Right.
and if we don't agree with it, we can ask for the information to see how we can help reduce the cost. We're in this together. That's my
I
point.
agree,
Well,
but
I
it
don't
still
think we wanna argue,
should be
because
in
I
the
think
budget.
you're right, Laura.
Well, I agree, and we can agree to disagree, it's okay, you
Yeah,
know.
I think that you do have a point there. How many people thought the original was too high? What is the reduction here, Christine?
Uh,
I don't know.
lump sum total was $58,807.
For your savings, what,
875.
the savings for the cuts?
Oh, are you talking the one
I'm
department?
talking about, no, I'm talking about
CEO.
this department.
CEO, okay. That was $5,969.
That was the cut.
That was cut.
That was cut off the original.
Correct.
Because he wanted 40 hours and we cut him back to 35.
Dave,
Oh, that's right, thank you for reminding me,
$6,000.
that's right. Brought my, out of paper. Okay, do you wanna stay where we are?
Well, we're just voting, I
We're
guess.
voting, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we'll explain it and go over it at the meeting.
So why don't we vote, because I didn't write it down, because
All right.
it was probably gonna.
Anyone, all right, put your hand up if you wanna go with the selectmen's recommendation of $44,903 for the budget. All those opposed to that number? 4 to 2. Okay.
2, 4. Is it 2, 4?
2, 4, 4, 2. 4, 2, 2, 4, I don't know.
2-2?
Okay. All right, just so I have, on my thing, Laura, what, the first article, Article 2, what, how many, was that 4-2?
For EMS,
Yeah,
2 yes and 4 no, right? Yeah.
yeah. And this next one?
5-1,
5-1.
and the last one was 2-4.
Okay, thank you. I should have written down originally. Okay, does anyone have anything else they'd like to discuss? So are we basically done for this year? Well,
Hopefully,
other than that, we'll be back to the drawing board, correct?
that's correct.
That won't happen.
Anyone want to make a
No, 'cause
motion
they're
to
gonna
adjourn
have
the meeting? Somebody please make a motion.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you.